Tim Jackson from New South Wales, ranked number 1 in Australia.
9 competitors in the men's 100 metres final, and for most of them, perhaps the most important race of their career so far. In lane 1, Chad Stevenson from New South Wales. In lane 2, Steve McBain from South Australia. Lane 3, Tim Jackson from New South Wales, and what a sensation he's been here this afternoon. Lane 4, Fred Martin from New South Wales. 5, Shane Naylor from Victoria. 6, Paul Narracott from the ACT, the national record holder with Gerard Keating. Lane 7, Chris Davis from New South Wales. Lane 8, Paul Henderson from New South Wales. And in lane 9 from Queensland, Brett Leavy. Well, we've seen some very fast times this afternoon in ideal conditions. Some spectacular sprinting, in fact, but none better than what we saw from this fellow in the semi-finals. 10.04 with the assistance of a wind measured at 2.7 metres. The allowable assistance from the wind for record purposes is 2 metres per second, so the assistance was not all that great. There you see Fred Martin, a former national 200 metres champion, a man whose career has been interrupted by injury, but who has shown here this afternoon that he's still a force in Australian sprinting. And Shane Naylor, the fellow who qualified for the Seoul Olympics in 1988 but was overlooked, ranked number 1 in Australia last year, finished 2nd in the national championships, and of course the notable absentee from this field is the reigning national champion David de Wargenen from New South Wales, who was out with injury. The final for the men's 100 metres, with Jackson in 3, Martin in 4 and Naylor in 5, the competitors to watch. Plenty of tension in those arms as light rain starts to fall at the Sydney Athletic Field.
Set.
And a break, I think it was probably Leavy in lane 8, nearest the camera in the black and white strip, who eventually broke, but there was movement further down the line. And Brett Leavy from Queensland, and I'm not surprised that there has been a break, because this really is a very important race. Yes, you see Leavy in the foreground. It was who actually broke the line. These athletes vying for individual places in the Australian team, but also trying to establish sufficient credibility in Australian sprinting to allow the selectors to pick a 4x100 metre relay team. The wind is still behind the athletes, and it's still a significant wind. It has dropped. As we mentioned, light rain is falling. Tim Jackson's 10.04 in the semi-finals suggests that the first Australian under 10 seconds is not very far away.
Set.
He's got them away this time, and Jackson was up very quickly. Martin is going with him, so is McBain in lane 2. Naylor running on very strongly. Jackson's got them under control. A brilliant run by Jackson, and very close for second between Naylor, Martin and McBain. A brilliant run by Tim Jackson, 10.02. It appeared in his semi-final that he had a bit up his sleeve, and there is absolutely no doubt that he did. And it will be interesting to get the wind reading. Congratulations all round for this outstanding young prospect, the hottest sprinting prospect that Australia has had for a long, long time. He was the Australian under-20 champion last year. Let's have another look at it. He got away to a very good start, tall and lithe, with Martin alongside him. He had plenty to run with. McBain was also doing very well in the early stages of the race in lane 2. Then Naylor started to come through, and it became a race in 3, but really a race in 1. Tim Jackson, a sensational performance from the young New South Wales sprinter. He has won that event decisively, and he's won it in the very smart time of 10.02. Jackson on the right, Martin alongside him, and then Naylor on the left of your screen. A brilliant performance. And now Ken Sutcliffe is talking to the winner, Tim Jackson.
Tim, does that make you the best over 100 now in Australia?
Probably does, I guess so.
Tell me about this little bit of turbocharge that you do, thanks to Flojo and her technique.
Yeah, well, after watching the videos, she tends to swing a lower leg out a long way to get full extension, and we've just more or less copied that.
And when do you bring that in?
After full acceleration, which is about 50 or 60 metres.
And is it that telling, is it?
Well, I'm finishing better than I have in previous years, and I mean, it's obviously working reasonably well.
So you're chasing a medal. I mean, that time would suggest you've got a medal in front of you.
Yeah, there's Ray Stewart and Linford Christie, probably 1 and 2 in the world at the moment, and also 1 and 2 at the Commonwealth. So if I run up to that, maybe a medal.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
A brilliant performance from Tim Jackson to win the men's 100 metres final in 10 seconds flat. Shane Naylor was second in 10.24. Fred Martin from New South Wales third in 10.25. All 3 times under the Commonwealth Games qualifying standard.